Hi everyone! In this video, I want to show you what I've purchased at Jackson's Art and also in a local art store here in Kiev. My first very important purchase is pencil extender. Unfortunately, it doesn't match my Derwent Color soft pencils. It's too thin, but for my short, poor Prismacolor pencils, it's a very helpful thing. It will be much more convenient for me to color and for you to watch my videos. Now I don't have to struggle with my short prismas. Also, I decided to purchase another colors of Turner acrylic gouache. Recently, I made a video about a wonderful present of set of 24 colors which was sent to me by Amy, and I decided that I want to try another varieties of this acrylic gouache. So I purchased some of their pastel colors and some of their Japanese paints. I am totally in love with my set of 24 colors, and I am sure that I won't be disappointed in these additional colors. Tubes which I purchased individually are slightly bigger than tubes from the set, and it's also a very nice surprise. I tried to purchase colors which will be helpful for me in creating backgrounds, so that's why I mostly purchased greens and blue colors. And you also know that I love violets, so I also purchased some pastel and darker violet colors. Basically, this acrylic gouache is very highly pigmented with very high quality acrylic paint with matte finish. So the matte finish is why it's also called gouache. Manufacturer promised that Japanese colors have slightly rougher texture, and I discovered that it's true. And I also discovered that manufacturer advised to use a little bit of water, like 2 parts of paint and 1 part of water while using this paint, so it also was a very nice surprise, and paint will be more economical if I have to dilute it with water. I tried it and color was still very intense even when I added water. Here I have my color swatches for both basic set and for my individual colors. I deliberately took a very big A3 sheet of paper in order to make swatches, and I love to make swatches in columns by colors. So I have yellows and oranges, I have greens, then I have blue and violet colors, and then reds. I tried to also write down pigments inside of each paint, and I think that I made a very nice choice of colors, nice addition to my collection. It wasn't very easy to select because Turner has a huge variety in Turner gouache colors. I think that more than 150 colors. And I was very lucky because on Jackson's Art there was a sale on gouache, and also there was a sale on Winsor & Newton products, so that's why I decided to make an order. I think that acrylic paint and gouache paint are very helpful if you want to create background in coloring book with not very thick paper, because acrylic and gouache paints are much less demanding to the thickness of paper. They almost never bleed through. So in books like a book of Selina Fenwick or Tomoka Tashira, where I need to do backgrounds, but I am not sure how watercolors or neocolors will behave, I plan to use my gouache and acrylic paint. And I think that for some books like Sagar or Zachner, for example, simple background, just covering background with one bright color is a nice addition to the picture. I love sometimes to do background in this simple style, and I also plan to use my Turner acrylic gouache for such colorings. I am very pleased how paint behaves on these swatches. Brush strokes are invisible, and I love this opaque matte finish. Next, I purchased some markers for covering black lines. I think that colorist is in constant search of perfect marker for covering black lines. I think that colorists are like medieval knights in eternal search for beldam or for sacred graal. So I am also decided to purchase new markers. I love my Posca pens. I love my Uniball Signo white gel pen, but recently I discovered that these Molotov markers are also very good and very helpful in coloring faces. I already had this skin tone marker, and now I decided to purchase white markers in different sizes. They all are acrylic, so they won't be water soluble after drying, and it's also very helpful. Of course, I will test them thoroughly and I will tell you about all my testing and about my opinion. As I said, when I've placed order, there was a sale for all Winsor & Newton products, so I decided to purchase this set of alcohol-based pro markers. It's a skin tones set number 1. Unfortunately, they didn't have skin tones set number 2 with darker markers. I really want to improve my skills in coloring skin tones, different skin tones, in coloring portraits, so I decided that I also want to try coloring with markers. They are wonderful medium and I sadly neglected them in my colorings. Jackson's art has not a bad selection of different brands of alcohol-based markers, and when I tried to decide which brand, which set of skin tones to purchase, I decided to purchase this one because it doesn't has orange peach colors, which I consider not very natural looking and not very suitable for fair skin tone, for dark skin tone, and in many other brands this orange dark peach color was included. So I decided that I really like these 6 colors and they will be a nice beginning of my collection of markers for skin tones. And also I didn't have any of these colors in my small collection of pro markers, so I was happy to add them to my stash. Another skin tone set which I decided to purchase is again by Winsor & Newton, but these are pigment markers and honestly I don't know anything about them, about properties of this pigment, about inks inside, so I just decided to test them, to investigate, and again I simply liked colors in this set. Here we have 5 markers and also one blender, so it will be nice to test. If I like them after my testing, it's possible to purchase these markers individually, and Winsor & Newton has nice selection of colors for these markers. Of course, I will watch some YouTube tutorials about them and I'm quite eager to start testing them. But so far I don't like their package so much. It was difficult to open and it's difficult to close each time when I decide to use them. They have two nibs, very similar to Pro markers. One is broad and one is thin, and it will be interesting to test how they behave on paper. I hope that stripes and strokes won't be visible, and I hope that they won't be bleeding through terribly, but I think that they are similar to Pro markers, so they will be suitable only for one-sided books. If you have these pigment markers in your art supplies collection, I will be really happy to hear your opinion and your advices for using them. I want to show you which colors I have in each set, and of course later, after some time, when I will use them, I will make a separate video about each set. In Pro markers, I have ivory, almond, putty, burnt sienna, and coral. I think that selection is quite nice. All skin tones are very natural, so just different hues for the fair skin. And I really want to get also a set for the dark skins, but as it wasn't available at the time, I think that I just will look which colors are included in that set and I will purchase these colors individually. I gathered quite a lot of one-sided coloring books in my collection, and a lot of them have wonderful portraits, so I have a nice selection of pictures to practice and to learn. I plan to make August as a month of making videos of using art supplies which I don't use quite often, so they are slightly neglected, slightly forgotten, and also I will include in the list of these art supplies these new mediums, new markers. I hope that it will be interesting for you to watch such videos. In the set of pigment markers, I have couple of lighter colors and couple of darker colors for the dark skin tone, and it seems for me that they bleed through but not as much as Pro markers, but still of course they are visible on the back page. And the only thing I hadn't understand is that color on the marker isn't the exact match to the color which I got on the paper. For example, on the marker, I have an indication that medium brown has to be darker than burnt umber, and in reality, burnt umber is darker. So it's a not very good thing when we don't have this exact match between colors on markers, bodies, and on the paper. I make swatches on quite thin, ordinary paper, and so far I would say that marker strokes are more visible for pigment markers and less visible for Pro markers. But still I like color selection, they are natural looking at least. I hope that I will be able to use them for some pictures. You can see that they bleeded through, but not as much as Pro markers. Next, I decided that I needed another thin brush. I need this thin and long brush for drawing lines, ornaments. I think that it also will be helpful in drawing flower stems, grass. The only thing I always struggle is this plastic protective cap. I am never able to put it back again after I first take it off. So I don't know why, but it's just my problem with brushes. I don't know would it be interesting for you or not, but I compared prices on art supplies on Jackson's Art, which I paid while it was a sale, and you can see that price for $11 and $11 for each of the sets, and I compared them with prices in my local art stores here in Kiev. The set of pro markers is 17 and set of pigment markers are 28 or 25 in other store. I would say that it's a huge difference. And for that order of gouache tubes and two sets of markers, I also got an almost free postage from Jackson's Art. I just paid 70 cents because I wanted a track delivery, so I paid for it. Delivery without track was free, and it's also a very huge surprise and very helpful because usually a postage cost of delivery to Ukraine is quite crazy. Next small art haul I made in a local art store, and I purchased a replacement of my black pencils because after coloring just one picture in Jasmine Beckett's Griffith book, I realized that I definitely need new black pencils. Also, I purchased a small brush to cover black lines with acrylic or gouache paint, and I finally purchased a replacement for my Derwent burnisher. I started to use burnisher as a blender since the beginning of my coloring hobby, so my last one served me for almost 4 years, and now it's terribly short and inconvenient to use, so not very comfortable. This poor short thing helped me a lot. He saved me a lot of pencils, a lot of time. It improved a lot of my pictures. You know that I love to use it as a blender, and it's time to go to the well-deserved rest. My next purchase was also for improving my skills for coloring faces, and here I have some of Kohinoor polycolor pencils. You know about my love to Kohinoor Mondeluz watercolor pencils, and here I have regular pencils by the same Czech manufacturer. I wanted to purchase a portrait set from Kohinoor Polycolor, but it wasn't available at the time, so I decided that I will purchase some pencils individually, I will test them, and if I like how they behave, how they layering on the paper, I will consider purchasing the full portrait set. I purchased all pink colors which were recommended in the portrait set and also added brown, green and yellow colors. I will test them, and I think that if I like Kohinoor Mondeluz pencils, and I've never heard any bad opinions about any of Kohinoor products, Kohinoor Polycolors will be a nice addition to my pencil collection. And I'm glad that I decided to purchase this pale yellow because this banana yellow is one of my favorite colors in Kohinoor Mondeluz set. It's already very short and it's my favorite pencil for adding effect of light to create effect of the sunlight on the objects, so it will be also very helpful. Unfortunately, we don't have color names printed on the pencils, only numbers, but in the manufacturer charts you can find names also. I may be mistaken, but I believe that they are not wax-based, but they are oil-based. At least they behave on the paper more like polychromos, not like Prismacolors. They are close to Prismacolor to polychromos in their hardness, and I really love that they are very highly pigmented. Here I only slightly touch paper with my pencil and I already get nice natural looking skin tones. I love coverage of the paper. As I said, paper here is quite cheap, nothing special, but pencils cover all white spots nicely. And when I press on the pencil slightly harder, I can get nice bright and intense color. I think that quality is quite decent. They are available to purchase individually here in Ukraine, and also price for Kohinoor pencils is 3 times lower than the price of polychromos, for example. Next, I decided to purchase some new watercolors by Van Gogh. You know that I like this Dutch manufacturer. I love Royal Talent products. Last year they presented new colors in their line, and they also had some granulated watercolors. You know that I love granulated watercolors like Daniel Smith, for example, but of course watercolors by Van Gogh are much cheaper. Unfortunately, so far they have only 4 granulating colors, but they also have this oxide black color which you can mix with regular watercolors and to have similar granulating effect. I decided to purchase one granulated watercolor which is dusk pink. I decided to purchase this magical black color, and also I added beautiful yellow-green color with unpronounceable name. It's azomethine green yellow, very bright, very transparent, beautiful color. I think that it will be beautiful also in mixes, especially with blue colors. And the last half pan watercolor which I purchased is Davy Gray. Maybe it's not very beautiful in itself, but I saw that many watercolor botanical artists use this Davy Gray for shading while they are doing botanical paintings. So it will be very helpful for coloring in all Leila Dewley books. I love Van Gogh paints. For me, they are perfect balance between price and quality, and I am also happy that they are available in art stores here in Ukraine. So, together with my White Nights watercolors, I can create a very nice selection of watercolor colors. I really want to make a separate video about granulated watercolors. I have some colors from Daniel Smith, and now I have these 2 colors by Van Gogh. I think that they also are a very nice way of creating dramatic backgrounds in Hannah Carson or especially in Jasmine Beckett Griffiths. So everywhere where you need to create some bright and quite active background. Of course, I tried to mix this oxide black paint with regular paints, and this mix immediately darkened and made this interesting effect of granulating into basic color and black parts. I hope that you can see it even if I test it on cheap watercolor paper. I like dusky pink color, very dark, very active, and it has a really nice depth. You can use water adding to it and get a nice gradient from quite dark to quite light colors, and after it dried you can see a very nice granulating effect. And it was everything I purchased for myself during the last month. I thank you for watching and for sharing with me my joy from my new art supplies. I hope that everything I will be using in my next colorings. So thank you for watching and I will see you very soon.